Hello everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are doing a sit down video to talk about Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. First of all, I would like to thank the publisher for reaching out with an invitation to join the blog tour for this book, and today we are going to be doing my review of the book. This review will be as spoiler-free as possible because it did just come out yesterday, so I want to make sure that everybody has the chance to read it without being spoiled for the book. So let's go ahead and get into the review. Reading this book was interesting for me because initially I had an e-arc and I was reading with my eyeballs whenever I could. But because I'm currently in the process of moving, that was very slow going for me. Libro FM ALCs came out at the beginning of June, and the audiobook for Not in Love was one of them, so I was able to pick up the audiobook and get through the rest of this book. I'm sure you're not surprised that I gave it 5 stars. So before we get started, I do want to mention the trigger warnings for this book, and there is a little chunk of them, so I'm going to have them all listed in the description below. These come directly from Ali Hazelwood's website regarding this book. She also did put an author's note in the beginning of the book saying that this does involve slightly darker topics than some of her other rom-coms have, and this one is more romance instead of romantic comedy. So in this book, we are following Rue and Eli, and they are on opposing sides of what could be a company takeover. Rue works for Klein. She is a scientist who works on different projects related to food. And then we have Eli, who is one of the founding members of Harkness, who basically purchased Klein's loan, and they are kind of set to take over. So the tropes that are involved in this book include enemies with benefits, enemies to lovers, and he falls first. I have been learning that he falls first is a trope that I absolutely love in books. If I'm being honest, I probably do not even question whether I'm going to enjoy an Ali Hazelwood book or not anymore, because as soon as it's announced, I know I'm going to love it. If you watched or read my Check and Mate review, which I'll link in the description below, I did have a little bit of hesitancy because I was worried I wasn't going to like her young adult book. But that was the only doubt that I ever had about an Ali Hazelwood book. And honestly, I loved that book, so I don't know why I doubted it in the first place. So there's no more doubts when Ali Hazelwood releases a book. I know I'm gonna love it. It's always an auto buy for me. In fact, not only is it an auto buy, somehow I always end up with multiple copies. The dynamic between Rue and Eli is just something that was so enjoyable to read. Initially from them seeing each other at Klein, Rue trying to avoid him, to the point where it's like, what's the point? Once I really got into the book, I had such a fun time with this one. While it is not necessarily darker, but not as comedic as some of her other books, it does still hold that signature Ali Hazelwood writing style that you can sense throughout all of her books. There's a certain little bit of wit in her writing, or just lines that she writes that you could just tell are definitely Ali Hazelwood. And I just fell in love with these characters like I have with all of her other characters. And she just writes such good women in STEM books. Probably because she is a woman in STEM herself, but I just fall in love every single time there's a new one. Once again, I would like to thank the publisher for inviting me on this blog tour. It is such a privilege every single time, and I am so happy to be invited. Thank you to Libro FM for providing an audiobook via the ALC program. And thank you to Ali Hazelwood for choosing to be a writer and just existing. So that is all I have for this review video today. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you like what you see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I am not posting as regularly anymore, but I do have some videos upcoming from my travels that I've had. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all whenever I post again. Bye!
In the darkness, I don't feel so cold.